Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. All right, some free agent updates that might impact the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk about them. Now, one of the things that's been happening behind the scenes is the Tennessee Titans have been making moves in free agency. They just traded for a linebacker. They also have gone out and signed a ton of offensive linemen. This has rose the speculation that the Tennessee Titans might be all in on taking Cam Ward, #1 overall. I think if you're a Browns fan, now again, this is everybody's opinion is going to be different on this. It's just my opinion. My opinion as a Browns fan is that that's a good thing for Cleveland. That if Tennessee goes for Cam Ward, you're sitting there at #2, and you could go Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Those are two great options. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, I feel good about that. Whatever you do at 2 with those two on the board, if you take one of those two, I don't have a complaint about it. Me personally, if you're asking me who I would have in the edge of that debate, is the edge rusher, Abdul Carter, simply because I don't have to be creative to understand why Abdul Carter would be a good fit on the Cleveland Browns. He is a tremendous fit alongside the skill set of Myles Garrett, another elite edge to put next to him, and more importantly, an elite edge that you can potentially move along the line of scrimmage just as flexible as you can move Myles. Like, remember the Myles Euro step thing that he did? Imagine having two guys capable of doing that on your defensive line. I think Abdul Carter is a fantastic prospect. He has drawn comps to Von Miller throughout this process. He is the real deal. So I would prefer Abdul, but I'm not going to be upset if you go Travis Hunter because the vision for Travis requires a little bit more creativity. I compare it to this. Abdul Carter is a steak dinner. If you like steak, you know a steak dinner always going to hit, and you ain't never going to regret whatever you spent for a good steak dinner. And that's what Abdul Carter is. He's a good steak dinner. There's no creativity. You don't have to wonder about it. But Travis Hunter's like the iPhone when it first came out, or going to a new restaurant. There's a wider range of outcomes. It takes a lot more creativity to understand how that's going to hit. But that could end up being the new revolution, is what Travis Hunter is able to do in the NFL. Like, Travis Hunter could easily be the best player in this draft class. You just have to be willing to think outside the box a little bit to see the vision. And there's a lot more risk in there because Travis Hunter hasn't had the best injury history. He's talking about playing both ways. Either way, I'm fine with either choice there. So that's looking like what #2 is narrowing down to, with everybody else that was interested in quarterback going after veteran options. It does not feel like there's going to be much of a trade back market there at 2. So I think the Browns are going to have to sit there, take somebody at 2. If you're choosing between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, that's the best possible situation. That being said, we're going to review Cam Ward. I got a film breakdown coming out of Cam Ward probably tomorrow, as early as tomorrow. So we will fully discuss Cam Ward and what he could bring to the team and what the vision could be for him if he were to be signed to not signed, traded for by the Browns. There's more quarterback news today. The Browns, there's been this back and forth thing with Kirk Cousins. I expect this, just like the Myles contract, right? Remember with the Myles contract, there was a lot of noise about how an extension was never going to happen. It's out the realm. It's not going to go down. Right before the extension happened. Y'all remember that, right? Similar things happen, right? Whenever you hear a team or a party that is pretty much backed in the corner into doing something, and everybody knows that you're backed into a corner and have to do something, really kick and scream about going nuclear through the media, it usually means that they're about to fold. right? Like that's usually the last sound you hear before somebody folds is a lot of kicking and screaming. And what we're getting from the Atlanta Falcons camp is a lot of kicking and screaming. Oh, we're going to put him as the backup. We're going to do all of this. We're going to eat the $10 million. This feels like stuff you do right before you say, all right, nobody's biting. Let's just give it up, right? This feels like the last hurrah on that. In the same way that Myles Garrett putting it out there that he might retire was a last hurrah before he went and accepted that he has to take the extension. So yeah, Kirk Cousins probably going to be available in my eyes. I know a lot of people don't think it's going to happen based on how much Atlanta is kicking and screaming. I go the opposite direction. I see a team or a party do that in their position. I think the opposite is true. But we'll see what ends up shaking out, right? Also, another interesting thing is that the Browns brought Russell Wilson onto a visit. And look, the names that have been thrown around here have not been brand names that are going to elicit a positive response from Browns fans. Just the name of Russell Wilson being brought up brings up a lot of emotions negatively about how you feel about the guy from his time in Denver, or because he played for the Steelers. And it would be weird for the Browns to have two former Steelers in their quarterback room, but they brought him. They're going to bring him on a visit before he visits New York. So it looks like Russ's options are going to be either Cleveland or New York. Cleveland might be out of it by the end of the week because they might go Kirk Cousins, and that will leave him with either New York or going back to Pittsburgh, as Pittsburgh's trying to get Aaron Rodgers there. And if they can't get Aaron Rodgers, he's probably going to have to go back to Pittsburgh. All of that being said, let's be real about what Russ is and isn't at this time. And I think a lot of us view Russ as the dude that's been memed on to oblivion, but Russell Wilson at this point would be a massive upgrade to what the Browns had at quarterback last year. And we knew this during the season because Russell Wilson was a much better quarterback than anything the Browns had to offer last year. So yeah, I get the negative reaction to hearing Russell Wilson is potentially an option for the Cleveland Browns. I understand why that's going to be the initial reaction to Kirk Cousins, but understand that Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson, whatever you think about them, last year were significantly better than whatever quarterback play you got out the Cleveland Browns from any of the quarterbacks in that quarterback room. And even if it is Kirk Cousins and Kenny Pickett and a rookie in that quarterback room, or Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett and a rookie in that quarterback room, that's a better quarterback room than we had last year. It's true. Like, that just is what it is. It's not sexy. It does not feel good. It does not fill you with a ton of hope. These are old guys with name brands that have been dragged through the dirt the last couple of years. But Russ was good enough to get to the playoffs with last year with Pittsburgh in a very similar offense to what the Cleveland Browns run. Was Russell Wilson perfect? Absolutely not. But Russell was effective for Pittsburgh. He was much more effective than Justin Fields was. You can make the same argument for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, I think, in the offense is more similar to what he did in Cleveland, which is actually what he went away from in Atlanta. Maybe he has a better chance of working out here. We're going to have all these opinions about whoever the Browns bring in, but understand, they're both upgrades. Like, we're kicking and screaming and complaining about two guys who would be upgrades to what you had at the quarterback position last year. It's the truth. Like, I hate to break it to y'all. I don't love it. I don't love having Kenny Pickett on the team. I don't love having Russell Wilson on the team. I don't love that the Cleveland Browns are in the situation where that's the truth about the quarterback position right now. That old Russ is a significant upgrade to what you had last year. Or that a old Kirk is a significant upgrade to what you had last year. Or even that Kenny Pickett's a significant upgrade from DTR. I do not like that is the situation that the Cleveland Browns are in. But that is the situation the Cleveland Browns are in. And that means that pursuing Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins are worthwhile endeavors, because it's much better than going after a 40-year-old Joe Flacco who showed signs of weakening. I mean, they want to get rid of Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. And Joe Flacco left such an impression on them that they decided that it was worthwhile to spend $13 million on Daniel Jones. So I don't think Joe Flacco at age 40 is a good option for the Cleveland Browns. And I don't think that's going to be what it was in 2023, especially for a whole season. I think Kirk and Russ, they probably make the most sense. They're just the two names that you feel the grossest about. But those are the two names that make the most sense here. So I get the reaction. I honestly do, because we spent many a years making fun of Kirk, making fun of Russ. The unfortunate truth, though, is that the Cleveland Browns are in a situation where Kirk and Russ are going to be upgrades to what they had last year and do make sense for their current situation. It is what it is, y'all. In other news, the Browns have locked up a 2-year, $20 million deal. Probably not. The money's going to change because we're hearing agent numbers, not real numbers. They locked up Malik Collins, got him from San Francisco, the longtime Houston Texan and Dallas Cowboy, joins the Cleveland Browns. He's a solid defensive tackle. He is somebody who is a pass rusher first, so somebody who's going to be in there to add to the pass rush rotation. I do wonder what this means for the rest of the defensive tackle rotation because there's a lot of bodies in there. But yeah, Malik Collins being signed here, 29 years old, pass rush specialist at the defensive tackle position, makes a ton of sense for what Cleveland wants to do. I think all signs point towards the Browns favoring Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, because this kind of pushes somebody like Mason Graham a bit out the conversation because it's not insignificant money for him. So I also wonder if this means we're going to keep Shelby Harris. I hope we keep Shelby because he's been really productive for this team, but I wonder if this means that we're going to keep Shelby Harris as well. But yeah, Malik Collins signed to the Cleveland Browns, a 2-year, $20 million deal. That's also interesting, something to keep your eyes on. But that's the free agency update as of 5:51 p.m., March 12th, Wednesday. If anything else happens, I'll try to put a video out, but that's all I got right now. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.